Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're on the last faction focus, so this is the High Elves. The plan, as usual, is to go over their rules, their roster, and just have a general conversation about the High Elves for the launch of Warhammer The Old World. It's been a pretty interesting journey so far. We've seen some ups and downs for a grand majority of the races. We still haven't been able to see the legacy stuff yet, so hopefully it won't be too long until that. Now, as per usual, just the usual disclaimer, out of respect for Games Workshop, who were very kind enough to send me some boxes early, I will not be going page by page, because that means that people can replicate the books and so on. Don't you worry, the release is literally just a few days away at this point. So it's not that much of a big deal, but there's so much to talk about, so without further ado, let's begin. Alright, so obviously we can talk about the roster. There's a few restrictions here, but then again the High Elves have always been one of the stronger races. So if we start off with characters, that's once again 50%, and we have the following. 0 to 1 High Elf Princes or Archmages every 1,000 points. 0 to 1 Dragon Mages or Handmaidens of the Everqueen per 1,000 points, and then as many High Elf Nobles and Mages as you so wish. When it comes to core, we've got 25% must be core, as per usual, but it's overall good choices. I mean, Elven Spearmen, Elven Archers, Lorphans, Seaguard, Illyrian Reavers, and Silver Helms are your main core choices. All of them pretty good. I mean, Seaguard have always been a staple since they were introduced. And then we got the first flavor thing, which is if your general is a Handmaiden of the Everqueen, so if you focus your army on Avalon a little bit, you can have one unit of Sisters of Avalon as a core choice, which is pretty insane. I mean, the Sisters of Avalon have always been quite good. If we move on to special, we've got up to 50% can be spent on this, and yeah, I mean, White Lions of Thrace, Sword Masters of Hoa, Phoenix Guard, Shadow Warriors, and Tyrannok Chariots. I mean, that's pretty good overall. Still in special, we've got some restrictions, so 0 to 1 units of Dragon Princes of Calador per 1,000 points, so you won't be able to bring too many of them. Standard game is about 2,000, only 2 units of those. They are generally quite good, so yeah, makes sense. And then the extra special stuff. So if your general has the Sharaisen Hunter Elven Honor, 1 Lion Chariot of Thrace may be taken as a special choice per 1,000 points. And finally, if your general has the Seaguard Elven Honor, we'll talk about the honors very soon, don't worry, 0 to 1 Lothan Skycutters can be taken as a special choice. So army theming is coming with the High Elves quite heavily, it seems. Let's talk about rare. 25% of your army list can be rare, and we've got the following. Sisters of Avalon, Lion Chariots of Thrace, and Lothan Skycutters. You may have 0 to 1 Flame Spire or Frostheart Phoenixes, not counting character mounts per 1,000 points. 0 to 2 Great Eagles per 1,000 points, and finally 0 to 2 Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers per 1,000 points. Overall, this is a pretty good split between core, special, and rare. You've got loads and loads of options. Pretty much every iconic High Elf unit is there, so let's move on to special rules, because there's actually quite a few. Alright, so we're going to talk about the special rules, because there's actually quite a few. The first one being Arrows of Isha, and this can be found on longbows, shortbows, warbows, and bows of Avalon throughout your army list. It gives you Armor Bane 1 special rule and Armor Piercing characteristic of -1. Next we've got the Blessing of Asuryan, which gives anything with this model a 5-up ward save against anything with a flaming attack, so it's only flaming attacks. Dragon Armor is obviously a thing, and this special rule gives you a 6-up ward against any wound suffered, and in addition, wizards can wear this armor without any penalty, and this is because, you know, Dragon Mages. Okay, Elven Reflexes, a model with a special rule, but not its mount has +1 modifier to its initiative on the first round of combat. Ithilmar Armor and Barding is quite cool, so a model with a special rule may reroll any rolls of 1 when making dangerous terrain tests. In addition, wizards can wear this armor without any penalty. Ithilmar Weapon also comes into effect. When engaged in combat, a model with a special rule that is fighting with a hand weapon may re-roll any rolls of 1. It's important to note here that this only applies to a single non-magical hand weapon and does not apply to a mount, and it doesn't apply to 2 hand weapons or anything like that. If you have that, then this rule ceases to apply. Then we got Lilieth's Blessing, which once per turn a model with this special rule may re-roll a single failed casting. So you might get quite lucky there. Lion's Cloak is a thing, so a model with this special rule improves its armor value by 1 to a maximum of 2 against non-magical shooting attacks. Again, your White Lions will be fairly decent versus well, pretty much anything with bows. Martial prowess is back and deadlier than ever, so a unit with this special rule can make supporting attacks to its flank, rear, as well as to its front. This is going to be a problem when you're fighting against elves, because obviously combat is done a lot different, but the elves are still going to be the best at it. And finally we got Valor of Ages. Don't worry, there's still a lot more special stuff, but this is just in the High Elf Special Rules section. A unit with this special rule may re-roll any failed panic test caused by taking any heavy casualties or by being fled through by a friendly unit. Overall, pretty good. The elves are going to be stacked with rules. I mean, we've seen that with the Wood Elves also. Here's hoping that the Dark Elves, being a legacy faction, also get that treatment, because, I mean, everyone loves the Dark Elves, right? Same thing with the High Elves, they're always really popular, because they're stupidly strong. Alright, we're going to talk about the Armory of Orthwan. So these are special weapons that you're going to be seeing throughout your list. It's actually quite important. So let's start off with the Bow of Avalon. This has a range of 30 inches, strength as the character or the unit itself. The special rules are Armor Bane 1, magical attacks, and volley fire. So it's quite good, and that's why I didn't get panicky when we saw the arrows not having, you know, magical attacks. Ceremonial halberds are a thing again, obviously, and that is combat. Again, it's a melee weapon. Strength +1, AP -1, Armor Bane 1, fight in extra rank, magical attacks, and requires 2 hands. There is a note here though, a model wielding a ceremonial halberd cannot make a supporting attack during a turn in which it has charged, which is fair enough, it's still halberds, and halberds are very strong. Shraisin Great Blades are a thing again, and these are for your White Lions. Strength +2, -3 AP, requires 2 hands, and strike last. Obviously makes sense for a great weapon to be held back in terms of that, and you're still going to be getting a lot of hits in there. I believe the best thing that I've seen is putting these in ranks of 7, which is just devastating, but then again, it depends on you as the player. And then finally we got the Sword of Hoeth, which is strength +2, -2 AP, magical attacks, and requires 2 hands. You might be wondering why there's no strike last here, and that's pretty much because these guys are like the Jedi of the Warhammer franchise. They can block shooting attacks and stuff with their blades. It's kind of funny. But yeah, you've got 4 different types of really cool weapons. This is your own armory. A lot of factions have their armory set out, but this one is like generally the best one, usually considered by the fan base, because again, High Elves being High Elves. Okay, so we're going to talk about Elven Honors. This is a pretty cool system which essentially changes up your character to have way more special rules and different other things. Some of them are paid with points. There is one free one, and essentially this is to change up your character. So we're going to start off. There's going to be a lot to discuss here, and I think this is probably going to be one of the larger sections of the video. The first one being Lore Master, which is for 35 points. This is only allowed for characters with a High Elf Lord distinction. They are not allowed to be mounted, however they become a level 1 wizard with either Battle Magic, Elementalism, High Magic, or Illusion. They get a Sword of Hoeth for no additional points, but this allows them to get a Ithilmar Armor, Lilieth's Blessing, or Lore of Safri special rules. We'll get that a little bit later. Essentially, 35 points to upgrade a character to turn them into a Lore Master of Hoeth, which is why certain characters are missing from your main roster list, which is honestly kind of cool. So let's go on to the next stuff. We've got Shadow Stalker, which essentially gives you a character based in Naggareth, so a Shadow Warrior character, cannot be mounted once again, may be equipped with a Bow of Avalon for no additional points. Keep in mind that when you take these special things, you cannot take additional non-magical weapons. And this gives you the following special rules: Ambusher, Evasive, Fire and Flee, Move Through Cover, and Scouts. Not bad for 20 points. It's actually pretty insane. And yeah, I mean, if you want to have a Naggareth-based faction army, then there you go. Next, we've got the Anointed of Asuryan for 15 points, which allows you to mount on a Flamespire or Frostheart Phoenix, but no other mounts. You can have a Ceremonial Halberd too. Then you get the Blessing of Asuryan, Fear, and Witness to Destiny special rules, and replaces Valor of Ages special rules with the Veteran special rule. Again, not bad for 15 points. When we start looking towards the Blood of Kalador, 15 points once again, it allows you to mount on either a Barded Elven Steed, a Sun Dragon, a Moon Dragon, or a Star Dragon. Gives you +1 weapon skill, may be equipped with full plate armor for no additional points, and gains the Dragon Armor and Impetuous special rules. Shraisin Hunter is for 10 points, which allows you to be mounted on a White Lion Chariot. So no other mount options there. You can take the Great Blade for no additional point cost, and it gives you the Lion Cloak, Move Through Cover, and Stubborn special rules. Warden of Safri is 10 points. It doesn't allow you to be mounted, however, it allows you to pick up a Sword of Hoeth for no additional points, and you get Deflect Shots, Ithilmar Armor, and Killing Blows special rules. Pure of Heart is the next one, which is free. I was actually quite surprised. No points. So this one is pretty simple. Unless this character is fleeing, all friendly units within their command range use their leadership characteristic instead of their own. In addition, this character and any unit it has joined automatically pass panic tests it is required to make. Any panic test, it says there. And finally, the Sea Guard. This is once again free, and it allows you to be mounted on a Lothan Skycutter, but cannot choose any other mount options, may be equipped with a Warbow for no additional points, and you get the Naval Discipline and Rallying Cry special rules. Overall, this basically means that you've got a bunch more character options without cluttering up your book, because this would end up being, another 7 pages worth of stuff. So this is actually pretty cool. I love the system. It's going to allow for people to play as their favorite princedoms. I already can kind of expect a friend of mine who's going to go with the whole Shadow Walker theme. But yeah, overall, super cool. I'm very keen on this. Actually makes me feel bad that the Empire is not getting something similar to this, because, the different provinces are different. You never know for Arcane Journals, because it's something that would be really nice, but overall, yeah, this is awesome. Alright, now we're going to talk about magic, and obviously there's a few different options. The High Elf Mages, which is your Archmage and your Mage, knows the following laws: Battle Magic, Elementalism, High Magic, and Illusion. Whereas your Dragon Mages know either Battle Magic or Elementalism. It's a bit of a shame that we've ended up losing the color laws. I was really hoping that there might be something special just for the Dragon Mages. Plus, I'm fairly certain that in this point of the lore, the High Elves already have a refined version of magic. And they have their own lore, don't worry. I'm just making an observation here. I mean, either way, the Dragon Mage's strength is the literal dragon, so yeah. So the High Elves have their own unique lore known as the Lore of Safri, which has 3 different spells, and how this works is you generate your normal battle lore or whatever you want to do, and if you don't like those spells, you can then switch them out as you choose with one of these 3. And yeah, they're fairly decent, so let's talk about them. The first one is Hand of Cain. This is an assailant spell with a casting value of 8+, and its range is in combat. A single enemy model the caster is engaged with suffers a strength 4 hit with no armor saves permitted. Ward and regeneration can be attempted as normal. Not the best, but yeah, still something. Courage of Anarian is the next one. It's an enchantment with a casting value of 10+, range of 15 inches, and it remains in play. Whilst this spell is in play, the target friendly unit gains Unbreakable. You can cast this on a unit that's engaged in combat, and once again, if this spell is cast, the effects of any other enchantments previously cast on that unit expire. But yeah, pretty good overall. And finally, we've got Vol's Unmaking. This is a hex with a casting value of 11+, with a range of 12 inches. So the effect is possible, can only target enemy characters. However, you can target any character which is engaged in line of sight, so if you can see them, you can do it, even if they're inside of a unit, even if they're in combat. And essentially, the casting player chooses a single magical item carried by the target, and it is destroyed. For the remainder of the game, by the way, which is actually pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good spell. 11+ is still very high, but if you got a level 4, that makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I think that this is fairly decent, especially if you're going to be dealing with really disgusting Chaos Lord builds, which I myself have been building. So yeah, overall, pretty good. Alright, so now we can talk about the pros and cons and general thoughts, because well, we've talked a lot about the High Elves, and let's be honest, they are in a very good place. That was 14 minutes of basically, oh, this is good. So, in terms of pros, you've got a lot of variety. Your characters are highly customizable too, so you can pretty much theme your armies based on all the princedoms if you so wish. I feel like the High Elves have as much customability as, say, for example, the Chaos Warriors, if not a tad bit less, because obviously you don't have a mark system for all your units and so on. But yeah, you've got it there for all your characters, which is going to allow you to one day bring a Sea Guard themed list, the other one maybe High Elf Cavalry themed, and there's so much that you can actually do, which is insane. The honor system is fantastic. I'm a big fan of this. Again, customability is a big thing. When it goes to con, I mean, it's mostly just going to be centered around the system of, well, yeah, just squishy elves. Like, you've got low toughness all around, and that's going to make you die really quickly if they can get by your weapon skill. Overall, I think that the High Elves are going to be stupidly popular, mostly because of how much stuff is available to them and all that customability. It does make me question about the future, what's going to happen in terms of, well, arcane journals, because it looks like all the Princetons are pretty much covered in this system. I don't want to speculate too much because, you know, this is stuff that is official at the moment and the future is the future. We don't know what's coming, but I don't know, maybe a Sea God list, and oh, you know what would be really cool? A Marienburg half-elf list would be interesting. Or maybe if they start pushing towards, you know, the whole Grand Cafe thing, something to do with the whole entryway to Koresh and the Southern Chaos Waste. There is a High Elf keep around there. Well, there's multiple High Elf keeps everywhere, but it would be nice to see some really different things. We've seen some pretty cool things with the Bretonnians and the Tomb Kings already, but I want to see it a little bit more, obviously, right? But yeah, overall, very, very happy with the High Elves. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. There's a lot more coming. We're done with the faction-focused stuff. There's a lot more videos coming. There's about, at this point, about 100 and something in my video idea list, so we're going to be busy. And just for a little hint, I'll be showcasing what will be the Battle Report studio. So yeah, Battle Reports are coming. I've got a studio, a premises, which is super cool, very, very soon. And that should be kicking up a little bit after launch because by the time that this video comes out, I have had a little bit of procedure done on my arm. Nothing too serious, don't worry. But yeah, need some recovery time. But yeah, guys, you have a great day, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.